Welcome back to Carmill Dam, where there's even more drama for Malcolm Goodman. The rest of the boats lined up for the start of Heat 2, which is what, just 2 minutes away. His boat won't start. He was going to maybe make a late start, but now he's climbing out of the boat. And Malcolm Goodman's weekend goes from bad to worse.
So it's a nightmare start then for Malcolm Goodman, who does not make the race. However, Balfour will be smiling. 29 starts the race. Here we go for heat number 2, and a good start from Graham Palfreyman on the outside, and Ian Andrews right in the middle of the things, not really getting the start he wants. Hammer is coming through. Alan Marshall is also there and up towards the top turn, and an accident. And that is Sven Hammer, who goes into the corner too fast with another boat in the way, and he's already out of the boat. They're strapped into safety cells, and Sven Hammer's race is over. And you just see here now on the replay, we've right on board with Sven Hammer. You can see that, oh, and there's the contact, and it goes over 1.5 times, doesn't it? And it's there where his weekend goes from bad to worse. On board with Graham Palfreyman now, bang, bang, roll and over. And just from a different angle, we see Ian Andrews' point of view, and Ian Andrews very lucky, in fact, not to get tangled up with the carnage. So Hammer's day is over, and points, and he's not pointing at this, because this is the damage of Graham Palfreyman's boat, and this is the damage of Sven Hammer's boat. Both boats then being non-entrants for the rest of the weekend. So it's a 3-boat restart then, and Paul Balfour will start. Remember, we lost Malcolm Goodman, who's got mechanical problems. So the 3-boat restart with Ian Andrews, who once again really struggling to get away from the start grid. They all start from a dead engine start, but Balfour really one of 2 of the SST 120 Mercury 2-litre engines running here in this particular heat. Ian Andrews really then with the Optimax engine. So Paul Balfour then, not much traffic on the water, and you can see how calm it is when you're out in front, and round and down to the right-hander where the rock, the infamous rock, and many boats have come to grief on that rock. But it's all looking pretty sweet, isn't it, at the moment for Paul Balfour, number 29, the black boat. He himself has had his own problems with the Carmill racecourse. In fact, I remember when he first got that boat a few years ago now, in fact, had his own problems when he flipped over backwards a couple of times. But after the rebuild, he certainly got the boat up and running and proving himself here today at Carmill. In the meantime, well, back with the race. Balfour leads then over Alan Marshall, who is in 2nd position, and Ian Andrews still in that 3rd position spot. And that's the way how the race ends, with Balfour winning, Marshall 2nd, and Ian Andrews will collect that final spot. And just confirmation then, Balfour takes it over Alan Marshall, Ian Andrews 3rd, and of course the 3 retirements of Palfreyman, Hammer and Goodman.
A little bit easier than yesterday. Obviously Alan is a very, very quick boat as well. He's the sort of next best threat, shall we say. Yeah, but a lot easier drive, less stressful than yesterday.
So Paul Balfour leads over Alan Marshall, and Ian Andrews laying in that 3rd position spot.
With 5 other classes racing this weekend, the F2 Cats aren't the only attraction. One of the most competitive supporting races is going to be for the 30 monos. Exactly the same hull as the juniors that we featured at the last event, but now with twice the power. The weight limit goes up from 220 kilograms to 250 kilograms, including the weight of the driver. And the man that dominated the last round at Alton Broad, and obviously championship leader, is Ben Morse. Ben, did you start in juniors?
Yeah, I raced juniors as soon as I could when I was 9 until I was 16, which is the age after finish at.
So how old are you now?
18 just.
And this is the same boat exactly as you raced in juniors?
It's the same boat as I raced for my last few years in juniors, but just with the bigger engine obviously and the bigger weight limit as we get bigger.
Now it doesn't sound much, 30 horsepower from 50, but is it quite a big step up?
It is. When you go from juniors to 30 monos, it is quite a big jump. You're coming into the turns a lot quicker, and that's when you notice it the most.
You won all 3 heats in Alton Broad, but I've looked at the qualifying sheet, Ben, and you are 6th fastest today. What's going on?
Didn't have a good practice session. I've left myself with quite a lot of work to do now this afternoon.
You're about 1/10 of a second off second. It's very close. The guy up front's 0.4 or 5 ahead.
There's a gap between 5 of us, I think, 0.3 of a second, so it's going to be very close after the first turn.
Well, good luck. I just look forward to see you powering through from 6th to 1st.
Let's hope so.
It's the perfect formula for both the under-18s and the slightly older 18s.
So the GT30 class is the new up-and-coming green engine class for monohull racing, and it's Kevin Hill then in boat number 69 who is in the lead at the moment. He got the pole position in qualifying. They do 20 minutes of qualifying session at the start of a weekend, and of course if you get the quickest lap around the racecourse then you get that pole position, and it was Kevin Hill who set the pole position time. In the meantime, well, Jason Brewer, he is the rookie driver in this class. It's his first outing in the GT30 national race, so let's watch his progress during the course of the 3 heats that they do. But there is the race leader, 69, Kevin Hill, and he takes the first victory of the day for the GT30 class. So a quick race then.
Jason, you're Powerboat GB's promoter. I mean, what are you doing bouncing around in the Mono 30?
Well, we built the boat for somebody and they couldn't race it, so I thought I'd have a little go. With the Jubilee and everything, we thought we'd have a little bit of fun.
Now, Jess, you've just had your first heat of the Mono 30s, but you've come from offshore powerboat racing. Is that a whole different thing?
It's completely different. This boat is so much faster. It's just wow. I'm just glad that I took the corners wide this time round, and then next race I'm definitely going to be in within the mix. Definitely competitive.
So here we go for heat number 2 then, and it's a mixture of boys and girls, men and ladies, whichever you like to call them, but it's Kevin Hill nevertheless who starts from pole position and goes head to head with Ben Morse in 97 up towards the top turn. A lot of boats going into that first turn. It's always important to get the first turn right, and everyone makes it round safely. And Jordan Muckles trying to make the manoeuvre then on Thomas Yallop, but those two squabbling for their position at the moment. On board with the race leader, Kevin Hill. And hits a rough piece of water there. He's reading the water ahead of him. Quick glance over the shoulder, and he's way ahead of the opposition. But the opposition is still quite fierce, and Ben Morse and Mark Williams in 49, Ben Morse in 97. And we ride on board now with Ben Morse, quickly flicks the visor up. Poor visibility here this weekend for all of the powerboat racing. It's an overcast and dull and drizzly, miserable day, and visibility there very important for Jordan Muckles to avoid 71, Thomas Yallop, but they miss each other. And it all happened behind Kevin Hill as he glances across his shoulder to see where the action was happening. And he gets out of shape. And the red flags, now is that Kevin Hill? Has Kevin Hill gone over? The race is stopped, and it's Jess Stoneman who has gone over. Our young lady driver has rolled over, and the race is stopped.
Kevin, that's 2 races you've dominated. You're not playing fair, beating all these other people so easily.
We're not cheating, but we're just having a good go, a good attempt.
So what's the secret of making one of these boats go fast?
It's down to the rigging, mainly rigging setup, and just determination really.
Natalie, champion in this formula last year, but what was that start all about?
I don't know, I just entered it takes a lot longer to get on the plane compared to the other engines. This is a new engine, new boat, new everything really, so it's a whole new learning.
So this is heat 3, and they all line up again and away from the start pontoon. They run over a shorter course than the bigger Formula 2 crafts. But let's see as we once again ride on board with Ben Morse, really having a rough drive there, and it gets very bumpy and uncomfortable if you're mid-pack, but round the first turn then, let's see if they all make it safely. And once again, Thomas Yallop and Jordan Muckles really close together as we ride on board with Jason Brewer, who is forced out wide there. He glances across, just gives the other driver enough room to squeeze through on the inside. But it's 69, Kevin Hill, dominating this race out there in the moment, and 49 Mark Williams really in second position, and Jordan Muckles once again almost having his own moment, but the checkered flag is waved and Kevin Hill wins. And a celebratory bath to complete his weekend.
So more of the same for Heat 3?
Hopefully, yes. Just try and get another clean sheet, and that'll do.
But if Malcolm does turn up for the third race, will you let him go if he gets ahead of you because you don't need to beat him to win the event?
It's always nice to win, you know, to just win on your own merit. But at the end of the day, if it's a case of risking losing everything, you know, you don't risk it.
So we are now in the final race of the weekend for the Formula 2s. They run over 3 heats. This is the third and final one. And it's Paul Balfour who once again starts from the pole position as we ride on board with Ian Andrews. Remember, it's a much depleted field, isn't it, after losing Sven Hammer and also Graham Palfreyman, who got entangled in that second heat start. But we are on board with Malcolm Goodman. Once again, not really getting the start that he would have wanted. It's been a nightmare. First 2 rounds for Malcolm Goodman. He's got to try and salvage something. It's not going to be good enough, I don't think, for a podium finish here this weekend. But he's got to concentrate really on the championship. Still many more rounds left in the championship, and Malcolm Goodman needs to try and grab as much points as he can from this weekend as possible. However, Paul Balfour has really proven that had he have been at Alton Broad, would have been dominating this championship so far, but he missed that due to a shoulder injury. So Malcolm Goodman then in number 1. Well, he can chase Balfour, but can he pass him is the question really. And Balfour is about 2 seconds then just in front of Malcolm Goodman. And Goodman then, you can see that he's trying to do everything he can to get past. He'll be wanting to avoid any prop wash which will slow him down. And you can see the big rooster tails that are kicked off the engines. The rooster tails jet up from the back there. As Goodman, you can see the racing line he's trying to take. He's trying to avoid the wash. No point in riding in the wash of Paul Balfour because it's just going to make the boat cavitate. The propeller won't grip. They all have 4-blade propellers, and the 4 blades wouldn't be working to full effect. Ian Andrews then, however, is having an okayish weekend, isn't he? He's about 3rd overall at the moment and doing well in this race. But Goodman hasn't got an answer so far for his fellow clubman Paul Balfour, who was out there in the lead, and Balfour really taking a tight line around the racecourse. He doesn't want to leave any space and any chance for Malcolm Goodman to pass him. So round the left-hander, up towards the narrow part of the racecourse, up towards the top end of the corner. And Goodman trims the boat in, turns it round. They've all got power-assisted steering these days, so the torque of the engine is not quite so great on the drivers, but it's still a bit of a wrestle with these mighty 2-litre and 2.5-litre powered outfits. So Balfour then still in control, and he'll have a big smile on his face because he can see that Goodman is pretty much a distant memory. And 29 Paul Balfour has not many more laps to go in this race, and Malcolm Goodman, one final attempt really on trying to catch up with the race leader, but Balfour stands the boat up on end and then immediately trims it down again to approach the right-hander and get it round the right-hander. There's many different lines you can take on the approach to that right-hand corner, but Balfour knows all of the tricks in the book around this racecourse, and on the final straight we'll see the checkered flag and takes the final victory, making it 3 out of 3. So Paul Balfour wins Heat 3, Malcolm Goodman gets 2nd position, Alan Marshall 3rd and 4th Ian Andrews. So it's a good day for Paul Balfour and a bad day for Malcolm Goodman. But it's Alan Marshall who is still top of the leaderboard with Ian Andrews in 2nd position in the championships, and 3rd is Malcolm Goodman.
Well, after a day of high drama, that's all from Carmill Dam. Make sure you join us next time when Powerboat GP head to Cardiff Bay.